Call of Duty Black Ops 4 came out earlier in October, and a lot of people are saying that it is the best Call of Duty game in years. Is that really true? Thank you so much for joining me today and watching the video. So unlike other games in the past where I just kind of like grab the game and play it for a few hours and then do a review on it, I've actually wanted to spend some time with this game before actually doing a review and really kind of point out the things that I really like and point out the things that I really don't like so much, and give you like an actual very good representation of what the game's about, some of the new things that they brought in, and some of the things that they've omitted. So one of the first things I want to talk about with you is the Specialist HQ section of the game. What you do is you go through all of the specialists and you learn about the specialists, who they are, their backstory, and what they can do. There are some new specialists available in Black Ops 4. In Black Ops 3, you had the Seraph, Firebreak, Ruin, Nomad, the Battery, the Spectre, the Prophet, and the Outrider. They've done away with some of those and replaced them with new characters such as the Ajax, Crash, Recon, and Torque. They've done away with the Outrider, which really kind of bothers me. I really enjoyed playing as an Outrider and being able to pull out the Sparrow, which was a bow and arrow with a timed grenade. And I do miss that. Hopefully with some of the DLC, they might bring back some of those old specialists. Now, I do enjoy playing with the new specialists they have available in Black Ops 4. Ajax has the Ballistic Shield and the 9-Bang. The 9-Bang will release 9 different flashes to blind the enemy, depending on how long you cook it. If you cook it for a little bit, it'll blast out 3 flashes. If you pulled it for just a little bit longer, it'll blast out 6 flashes, and if you cook it entirely, it will blast out 9 flashes, which is definitely devastating. It's not very easy to get a kill once you've been flashed. Previous Call of Duties, it seemed a little bit easier to get kills even though you were flashed. I know I did it several times. I find it a lot more difficult in this game. The Ballistic Shield is pretty cool. I like that it's specifically designated to that one specialist. It isn't something that you can just set up in a class or something like that. So that adds an awesome balance to the game as well. While using the Ballistic Shield, you actually have a gun in this game, which is pretty cool. It is a weaker gun, so it takes a lot of bullets to kill somebody, but it will kill people. You can also use the shield to melee with, just like you could in previous Call of Duty games that had the Ballistic Shield. And you can also fortify yourself, which limits your mobility, but it also makes you harder to hit. So that's a pretty cool way to balance out a character using a Ballistic Shield. The Battery has a War Machine and cluster grenades. What's cool about the cluster grenades is you can stick them to people or stick them anywhere. They're like a sticky grenade. Once the cluster grenade explodes, which will kill people on its own, it will also release a series of other grenades, which will also kill anyone around. And if starting the game without a grenade is something that bothers you, you can always play as a Battery to get over that. The War Machine was in Black Ops 3, so if you play Black Ops 3, you are familiar with it. It fires off a grenade very much like a noob tube, only it must bounce once before it explodes. Pretty cool way to balance that weapon out as well. Crash is a support class. You will use this character if you want to support the team. You will also earn points towards your score streaks by helping out your teammates. So you can help everybody with health buff as well as ammo resupplies. And when people go to use the assault pack, you are given points for that, which count towards your score streaks, such as your UAV, attack chopper, or sniper choppers, and things like that. As I mentioned, you have a health buff that you can give to your teammates. That's your special move as a Crash. It gives you a boost in your health, 2 extra bars, making you a little bit more difficult to kill. Once you have given your teammate health, you will immediately reap the benefits of points towards your skill streak. Very cool incentive to being a support class, something that I don't see in other first-person shooter games. Firebreak has made his return in Call of Duty 4. He has a Reactor Core, which is basically a radioactive piece of equipment that you can pull out when you are near an enemy. Mind you, you do not have to be directly in front of the enemy. You don't even have to be on the same floor as the enemy. You just have to be in the vicinity. When you release this core, it will release a radioactive sort of field that surrounds you, and it will take down the health of anybody that is near you. You could be separated by a wall, you could be separated by a floor. It will kill them, but it will also kill you, so try to keep it out of the red. The Purifier is a flamethrower which will kill enemies on contact. You can survive an encounter with the Purifier, however, that doesn't happen as often as you might like it to. This will roast enemies just like a marshmallow, sending them black and charred and bloody, and also very difficult to recover from. You have to wait a little bit before you can heal because you have been burned. The Nomad has returned also in Black Ops 4, and his equipment is a mesh mine, which is basically like a claymore, but it is triggered by a laser that if the enemy passes through it, it will blow them up. You can combo your mesh mines together, creating a large field of giant trap, if you will, and anybody that crosses through that laser line will be blown apart. It's a very awesome, sneaky weapon to get you with. You also have a canine unit, which I remember there being canine units in previous Call of Duty games. You have what looks to be like a pit bull or mastiff type of dog that will hunt people down. As soon as they attack the enemy, that is a kill. You can also set the dog to patrol a certain area. So if anybody walks into the area where your dog is, the dog will immediately attack them. But the canine unit, I've also noticed that she doesn't always work that well. She'll run right past enemies sometimes. I've been very close to the enemy dog, and the dog ran right past me and didn't even come after me until I shot at one. So keep in mind that you don't always have to shoot the dog. You can kill the dog, but if it's running away from you, you don't even need to worry about it in most cases. Just try to keep yourself a good distance between you and that canine unit. You should be okay. If you're using the canine unit, keep in mind that they do get shot down pretty quickly, especially if 2 to 3 enemies are working on that dog at the same time. And again, the dog acts kind of like a doof sometimes and doesn't really know where the enemy is, even though it's kind of looking right at him. So keep that in mind as well. The infinitely sexy Prophet has also made a return to Black Ops. Look at his hair. He has got fantastic hair. He also has fantastic weapons. He's equipped with a Seeker Mine, which when you release it will hunt down an enemy and then stun that enemy with electricity, which gives you enough time to find them and shoot them and kill them. Be warned though, I do find the Seeker to be a little bit buggy. Sometimes I find it getting caught on stuff. Just keep aware of where you're laying the Seeker down. You shouldn't have that many problems. But occasionally I do find the Seeker hung up on some sort of element or things that it shouldn't really be caught up on. And then you just basically wasted your Seeker Mine. And that's unfortunate, but it does happen. He's also equipped with the Tempest, which is an energy firing weapon. This weapon, once you have been struck with it, it subdues you, and all you're left with is crawling around on the floor, provided he does not shoot you again with the fatal blow. A cool feature about this weapon is if enemies are close to it, they will also be electrocuted just by being in the vicinity. And if you are in water and you are hit with this, you will die as soon as you're shot with this thing. This weapon is not messing around. It is probably my second favorite underneath of the Annihilator. Replacing the Outrider, we have the Recon class, which is an Intel Operations class. The Sensor Dart is an excellent tool to use. You can fire it off into a room if you don't know if there are enemies in there, and it will reveal the location of the enemies in that room or around it. Not only does it do it for you, but it also does it for your teammates. So your teammates get a little marker on the map while they're playing, and they can also see those enemies in those rooms that you have highlighted for them. Very cool, and you also get points towards your skill streaks for things like that. The Vision Pulse is basically the same as it was in Black Ops 3. Once it's equipped, you then reveal the location of all the enemies. It is a very useful tool to use, especially in hardcore. The Ruin, debatably the most popular character in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. He is equipped with a grapple gun, which is a lot like Batman. I feel like Batman when I'm using this thing. You just like aim it somewhere, shoot it, and you will fly into that room or wherever it was that you shot the grapple gun extremely quickly, and you can also fire rounds from the hip while flying through the air. It is a little bit difficult to aim while you're using the grapple gun, but it is a cool idea. It's a cool tool to use whenever you want to like just fly at somebody real quick and shoot straight into their face as you're flying at them. That is possible. And also, his special weapon, the Grav Slam, has also made a return in Black Ops 4. If you've played Black Ops 3, you are familiar. This unleashes a blast radius that encircles you and kills anything and destroys enemy equipment that might be in its path. Super devastating, and I can see why this character is extremely popular due to the power of its special weapon. The Seraph. She is tactical command, and she is equipped with a tac deploy system. This is basically like tactical insertion, but you don't spawn exactly where the tac deploy unit is laid. You just kind of spawn in the area. It's very awesome to be able to use this to kind of get the drop on a highly populated area of enemies. So if you notice that they're just mowing you down, if you lay down the tac deploy someplace out of sight, someplace that they can't get to directly, you can continue to spawn in and keep getting the drop on them. They're not going to be expecting that. They're thinking that you're going to be spawning over in your spawn zone, but no, you spawn right back where you were, basically, right in front of them, ready to destroy them. And not only that, you've brought teammates with you. It's fantastic. I think it's an absolutely awesome way to ambush your enemy and try to get the upper hand. And she's also equipped with her special weapon, the Annihilator. The Annihilator by far is my favorite of all of the specialists' weapons. This is a one-shot kill weapon. It can also pass through multiple enemies at once. So if you line up 3 enemies by chance or whatever and you shoot, it will kill all 3 of them with 1 bullet passing through all of them. It's a fantastic and extremely brutal weapon to use. The Torque. He likes to block paths. He's a real son of a bitch. I find myself getting trapped in his stuff quite often. He has razor wire, which will maim the enemy. It will contain them. They'll get entrapped in it. And the more they try to break free, the more damage it will do to them. And depending on how wrapped up in the razor wire they are, it will kill them. Along with that, he is also equipped with the Barricade, which sends out microwaves, which stuns the enemies and also slowly depletes them of their life. One thing that I find extremely brutal is using both of these pieces of equipment at once. One to entangle and one to nuke them until they die. It's really fun to watch an enemy just run around the corner really quick and get entrapped inside of the razor wire while being destroyed by your barricade. There's nothing he can do. He was dead in seconds. And anybody that falls in behind him, they definitely have some problems ahead of them. Hopping onto the trend train, they have brought in a game called Blackout, which is a battle royale style game where you and 99 other players are dropped into a map to fight to the death until only one remains. This game is quite a bit different for a Call of Duty game. You are in a permadeath sort of situation where if you die while playing a round of Blackout, that's it for you. You lose. You will then have to leave and then join a whole new game and start all over. You lose all of your weapons. You lose any progression that you made in your last game. Before you are actually deployed, you will sit in a lobby basically while new players come in, and hallelujah, it's raining men. You can use this time to taunt and annoy other players. You can use it to pick up guns and shoot at other players. You cannot kill them while you're in this state, but you can act like a real jerk if you would like. But if you're new, you could also use this time to sort of familiarize yourself with the items that are available, how to pick those items up, how to use them, and that kind of thing. The game starts you off by skydiving out of helicopters. Once you've landed, you need to gear up as quickly as you possibly can. Make sure to find guns and ammo quickly before anybody else who may have also landed in the same location that you have. Get there first, find the equipment first, and kill anybody around you. There are a couple of different things that can keep you occupied while playing Blackout, one of which is there are specific points that are highlighted. As you drop in, you will see these blue streaks. Those blue streaks are actually locations of special weapons or special crates for you. When you get there, you will be faced with an entourage of zombies that you must blast through, kill all of the zombies, and when you do, you will be rewarded with unlocking that crate and then taking the goodies that are inside. Once you've done that, you will then be able to go to a second tier option of it, where there's like a red marker instead of a blue marker, where the enemies are going to be a bit harder for you. Once you've destroyed those enemies, again, the crate will unlock and you can take the goodies inside. These goodies are fantastic weapons that can be used to destroy regular players quickly. I find weapons at the asylum or anywhere that there are zombies. If you destroy zombies, they give you special weapons that you cannot find in other locations of the map, such as ray guns and other things like that. They also drop goodies, like when you kill zombies, they will drop really useful items like dead silence perks. If you're in an area where there are zombies, the asylum or the graveyard or anywhere those blue streaks are, be sure to kill those zombies because you're going to be able to get some awesome loot off of them. But beware, there are other players who also have the same idea that you have. While you're distracted with getting your equipment, getting there first, destroying anybody around you, killing zombies, getting better equipment, moving on, there's a circle that is ever so slightly closing in on itself, keeping the lower numbers of players closer together so that way there are more encounters between you and other enemies. The circle continues to grow smaller and smaller, and be careful not to be caught on the other side of that circle because it will slowly deplete your life and you will die. Making its return in this game, I am sure everybody is not surprised to see zombies. So in this version of zombies, you have new modes that you can play. There's beginners, which is basically for beginners. If you've never played zombies and this is the first zombies game that you've ever played, start there. It will teach you all of the basics about zombies, and there's also a tutorial that shows you how to survive in zombies. It's very, very cool. Not something that I believe I've seen in other Call of Duty games. I could be wrong about that, but it was definitely a feature that I noticed in this one. You have classic mode, which is the 4 players playing and trying not to die. That is generally the overall idea of zombies, is last as long as you can, unlock as much as you can, and keep trying and trying and trying. And as I said, you have a beginner tutorial, you have an advanced tutorial. So very cool, very neat ideas. You also have the Emblem Editor, which is something that has been available in previous Call of Duty games. You can see I've made Boba Fett from Star Wars using several different layers, different items, different shapes, different patterns, all to create the final product there. I don't see a whole lot of people doing it as much as I saw on, say, the original Black Ops game. Another thing that I would like to see is my emblem available for my gun. That was something that I thought was kind of cool, because when other enemies would pick up your gun or whatever, they could see your emblem. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of a neat feature in previous Call of Duty games. You also have a paint shop, which allows you to create custom paint jobs for your guns. So if you wanted to, you could put your entire emblem that you made in Emblem Editor. You could remake it and put it on your gun that way if you would like to. I don't find that to be the same thing as what I really enjoyed about Black Ops, the first Black Ops, having your emblem on the gun. But it is an option. There are a lot of very cool things that you can do. I mean, it's the same sort of situation. You have all kinds of different icons, stickers, sticker sets, and shapes, patterns, fonts, backgrounds, things like that. The black market, this is also the tiers section of the game. You can also do special orders. They have new special orders every so often. These are limited edition character sets or costumes, things like that that you can purchase with COD points. You also have the store where you can buy the Black Ops Pass. You can get the classified maps and whatever else that they're going to put out in here. You can also buy your COD points here if you would like to buy those. And you also have theater. Now, one thing that really kind of pisses me off is I had bookmarked some games where I had done some really excellent kills with some of my specialists that I had planned on using the footage. I wasn't recording at the time. I thought, well, that's awesome. I can just bookmark this and not have to worry about having it saved on my computer. You know, I can just record it later and use it in the video. But for some reason, it all got erased, and I don't know why. They have recent games where you go in here, you can check out all of the recent stuff that you've done. You have broken into different sections. You have multiplayer, Blackout, zombies, or all. It goes back to the last 100 games that you've played. But if you want to watch or whatever, it also shows you your time and all of that. It's helpful for also making videos. And you do have to sort through it, which is kind of unfortunate. I also would like that when you bookmark a game, instead of it just saying game bookmarked, it would be nice to be able to name that clip. So that way when I go back to review it, I know exactly what clip it is. I don't have to hunt for it. Another thing that really kind of bothers me is the kill cams. They're kind of bad. Originally, whenever the kill cam played at the end of the round, it was the final kill that won the game, right? Of course, some of those kill cams were very underwhelming, not very epic. They were just kill cams, but at least it worked. The program worked. I mean, it was a simple program, a simple idea, and because of that, it worked very flawlessly. But now, and in World War II, they've been doing this thing where they do a final kill cam where it was like the most epic kill, the most badass kill that happened. The problem that I'm noticing with this is, look at this. I don't know how many times I have been watching a kill cam and then all of a sudden it just seems to like cut off halfway in between and I'm just looking at a screen of elements or the map and it's like, what's going on? Why is this so broken? They need to work on that or just bring back old school kill cams where it's the final kill. I mean, I was completely perfectly fine with that. I never asked for anything more, so I don't understand why they've changed the kill cam. Something else that I've run into that happens that is extremely frustrating: game crashing. You'll be playing, doing really well, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden, what happened? What's going? Fantastic. And I can't figure out. I mean, there's nothing I can do to fix it. It's, you know, I can't like troubleshoot it like you can with a PC and figure out what's going on. It's just something that happens, and it's not only happening to me, it's happening to a lot of other players. And that needs to be addressed. So all in all, is this game really worth the money? Is this Call of Duty a breath of fresh air, or is it just garbage? I would have to say I was extremely and most pleasantly surprised with how good this game really is. I really enjoy the fact that they bring in the specialists. I think the idea of paying attention to the soldiers themselves and bringing that whole like idea of this is how we're going to make Call of Duty different. This is the next step in the Call of Duty evolution. We focus on the characters, focus on special abilities, bring in new games like Blackout and new modes into zombies. I think this game really is really good. I like the fact that they brought in some of the old maps from previous Black Ops games. I love the fact that Nuketown is available on Blackout. Now, it's not, like a run and gun multiplayer, that kind of Nuketown that we're used to. And to be quite honest with you, whenever I first saw Nuketown, I was like, this does not look like Nuketown. But then I discovered this area of it, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is Nuketown. And you'll also see here when you're playing Blackout that on the population of Nuketown, there's a little number there, and that number shows you how many players are in Nuketown at that time, counting you. So that's a cool little feature, a little tip if you were unaware. Nuketown has some very cool areas to explore, and although it's not a multiplayer map option, it is still making an appearance. And honestly, I mean, if they brought back Nuketown again to play in multiplayer, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but not a deal breaker for me though that it's not in the multiplayer games. The reviews of the game seem to be mostly positive. A lot of people really enjoy the game. I think it's really good, and those that don't are really just butt mad because they can't get used to the new ideas that are being brought in. There's nothing wrong with trying to follow a trend train and bringing in a battle royale type of game, which is a lot of fun. It's a full-fledged battle royale game where you can actually ride around on vehicles and stuff like that. That's a first for Call of Duty. You know, you see Battlefield and stuff like that where you can ride around on four-wheelers or fly around in choppers, and I always wondered, you know, if they could do that with Call of Duty. They did do something like that, I think, with Black Ops 2. There was a score streak available where you could actually kind of fly a chopper. It was really stiff though. It wasn't really exactly what I wanted. But with Blackout being able to, ride around on a four-wheeler or a truck or a chopper, I think those ideas are really cool, and they're necessary for the kind of game that is. It wouldn't really make sense for you to have those things, in regular multiplayer team deathmatch or hardcore team deathmatch or domination or search and destroy. It doesn't make any sense for it there, but in Blackout it makes all the sense in the world. So there are really, really cool things to get used to with this game, and it might take you a little bit, but no rush. You have all the time in the world to get good at this game, and you will. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, if you maybe swayed a bit on your decision of whether or not you want to buy Black Ops 4, if I have maybe talked you into it, let me know by leaving me a like and dropping me a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite or least favorite feature of the game is. If this is the kind of video that you like to see, and if this is the kind of video that you would like to see more of, click subscribe. Go over to my channel. You'll find a lot more videos that I know you're going to love. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you in the next video.